Hi, it's me again, his wife's keeper. That's my channel, of course. I'm sitting down to continue with the story that I started last week. Brief overpass. Young me, born in West Virginia, mom and dad, first house, moved to the second, met Ruby, Selena, and Christopher. Ruby started babysitting. First day, went down in the dumps. Second day, check 1, 2, 3, let's go. All right. So, as I said before, I went home and I was so glad that my mom picked me up. I was just bawling. She didn't know what was wrong. I just told her that I missed her very, very much. That night, I ended up sleeping in my mom and daddy's bed. And the next morning came. I tried everything I could, everything, to try and make it like I was sick and my mama needed to stay home from work. They couldn't do it. Mom sent medicine over with me and my sister to Miss Ruby's. Okay, got over there that morning, thank God. Christopher hadn't woken up. Selena was already up getting her makeup on, doing her hair, so of course my sister was right there with her, watching her do everything, getting a little makeup on her little self too. My sister was really good friends with Selena. Well, Selena taught my sister a lot and just looked at her as a little sister. As I said, I was different. I was a tomboy. I was introverted. I stayed to myself. If you guys are wondering why my arm's moving, this is a hard topic for me, hard memories. And so I got my security blanket beside me, sitting with me. That's probably all you'll get for a while. But that is my husband, my best friend, my safe place. Anyway, I remember literally sitting on the couch as far to the wall as I could, kind of sitting back on the wooden armrest so I could see everything around me. It was probably right before lunchtime. I heard Christopher getting up, and so I slinked down in the couch so I couldn't be seen. You've got to know, when I was little, the doctor actually told my mom and dad that I'd probably be a midget because I was so small. As a 2-year-old, I was literally the size of a 11-month-old, a year old. And at 3 years old, I was just tiny. And he went in there to his mom, who was sitting at the kitchen table doing some kind of craft. I don't remember exactly what she was doing. I'm thinking she was crocheting something. But I loved Miss Ruby and I loved Selena, and I still do to this day, because what happened was not their fault. Yes, there were some things that should have been noticed, but nonetheless, not their fault. So I cannot blame them. Miss Ruby was like a mama to me. She taught me how to crochet. I was crocheting blankets at 3, 4 years old. And Miss Selena taught me how to do hair, do makeup. And I watched. I was the kind of kid that watched everything. Sat back, quiet, but observed everything. Anyway, back to the point. Christopher got up and asked, was Miss Ruby watching us? And she said, yeah. And he said, well, I don't see him nowhere. And she told him, well, Melanie, which is my sister, I have to use different names because I don't want this to get flagged and I don't want to risk, I guess, legal action, which I don't see how it was, because I would lay everybody's crap bare in front of Jesus Christ and all. But she said Melanie was with Selena and she thought that I was in the den, not the living room where I was at, but in the den. And he said he couldn't find me. And she said, well, why are you wanting to find her? He said, because she likes to play boy toys and I have a lot of them, which he did. So he looked around a little bit more, actually came to the back of the couch where I was at, but didn't look down. and I guess he just moved. That day, I had to end up going to the bathroom, but did not want to risk being seen. So I had an accident. And I told Miss Ruby, I was scared to get up, and I told Miss Ruby, and she said, "Why?" And I said, "I was asleep." Of course, Mom packed us extra clothes and everything. It was summertime in case, it was into summer actually, in case we went outside in the sprinkler or whatever. So then I was seen. I went back and sat down after I got changed, and here comes Mr. Christopher asking me, did I want to play with toys? And I said no. And Miss Ruby had company come about that time, knocked on the door. It was her ex-husband. I think they might not have been married, but I think William. And this man gave me the heebie-jeebies just because he was tall and he was big, not any other reason. So we were told to go play. That's when my resolve, everything just shattered, and I had to get up and go play. So we were in the middle room, which was the bedroom, and this was an older house. So in the closet was like a step, it was a shelf, another shelf on top of it. Then you could step up and go to the attic area. It was wide open. So he got some stuff down, and he said, "Oh, we need room to play." So he pushed the toy box against the door. That sound of it hitting the door will never leave my mind, because everything after that was a blur. Because that's when I was introduced to my own personal HE double hockey sticks. Trigger warning right here, right now. We're going to be talking about adult things, things that should not happen to children, trauma, immense trauma. So if there is anybody underage or without your, if you are and you're without your parents, do not watch this, or go grab your parents or your guardian, whoever. If somebody has dealt with trauma like this and this is triggering to you, then these aren't the episodes of mine to watch, because this is a healing journey for me. And also, I'm writing a book. I'm starting to write a book. So this could, be beneficial on some things to watch for with your own kids, or with, anything having to pertain to children. Their cues, things to watch out for, things to pick up on. Because when it comes to a child, they know when their parents are sad, happy, mad, glad, and they want them to be that way. They don't want to do anything to disrupt that. Kids are smarter than we give them credit for. Okay, back to it. One little thing. As a child, well, even as an adult, I've got a defense mechanism that started then, when no child should ever have to have a defense mechanism. My mind takes me away from things very quickly. I guess I adapted to that thanks to Christopher. So, okay. Everything was a blur. I sat down and we were playing, and don't remember what, I think it was badminton. And I was starting to loosen up, thinking, maybe I shouldn't be so scared. Maybe it was just I was shy, until the little birdie landed in my lap. And Christopher went to grab it. But instead of just grabbing it, he grabbed the little, I'm not going to be able to say me in this right now because I will lose it. So I'm going to, whenever you hear the little girl, just know that I'm talking about myself. So he grabbed the little birdie, which is the thing that you hit back and forth in badminton, and also grabbed my pants. And after that, I remember pushing and kicking, and he said if I did, that my daddy would go to jail. Did I want my daddy to go to jail? And my daddy was my absolute world, my sun, my moon, my stars, my days, my evenings, nights, afternoons. I used to tell him all the time that when I got big, that I was going to marry him. Not in a bad way, but just because I loved him so much. So I just remember blacking out, and how I came to is getting my underwear thrown at me because there was red stuff on them, and told to shut up and not say a word. So I did exactly as I was told. I was told that I had another accident again, and this time I wanted her to give me my clothes and I would do it. Because I knew that if anything was seen or noticed, that my daddy would go to jail. So that little girl was stripped of innocence before she was even 3 years old.